everybody. Welcome to another Age of Grogu, and I have with me Elijah, Max, and Jason. How's it going, guys?
What up?
Hey,
Hey, how's
hey.
everyone's week been? What's everyone been up to? Anything much?
I've watched Beef.
Beef.
Oh, it's a great
What's that?
show.
Yeah,
I need to watch that. It's
so
looks
good.
good.
I've seen
And
the
then
Looks good.
previews for it, but I haven't. What's it about?
It's just
Not
a
sure.
couple splitting up and them fighting about their breakup.
Oh,
right?
that's the
No.
one with.
Yeah.
No? Is that what it's about?
Wait.
Elijah
No.
hasn't watched it yet.
Okay, I didn't know.
Wait,
I mean,
wait.
I didn't. All I saw was the big opening trailer, and that's what I got out of it. It was like
Well,
two,
it's
two people
That's
had a beef with each
Stephen
other.
Young, though, right?
Stephen
Stephen-
Yeun,
Yeah.
Ali
Yeah,
Wong,
yeah.
David Cho. Actually,
David
David Cho
Cho's
has
so
been
great
like
in that.
put into
Okay.
light about a lot
Right.
of stuff that he said back in the past.
Okay. How is it as a series? Have you watched the whole thing, or?
Oh
just,
yeah, it's one of my favorite shows right now. It's not the
Really?
first A24 show I've watched. I guess they did
Right.
Rami as well,
Okay.
which was also a
And
really good.
Euphoria too, I think,
Right.
right?
Oh, they did Euphoria.
I think so, right?
But yeah, it's a good show. It's
Okay.
just like it's a good cross section of like our current like mental health
Right.
of like what a lot of people deal
Okay.
with, and like just having running into two people running into each other or crossing streams at like very bad moments of the day that just escalate into
Oh,
this.
I mean, I saw
craziness,
the trailer. I remember the trailer now, and I'm like, it didn't. It looked interesting, but it didn't quite grab me. But under
Oh,
that
it's
recommendation, I might
Deeper
check
than
it
the
out.
trailer shows. Like
Yeah?
it's at its core, it's about two
Okay.
people who get into it's just a small beef at like
All right.
just a kind of like a car intersection. Like it's just
Okay.
a small
oh,
traffic thing, and then it just
Yeah.
escalates and
Escalates
escalates and
to something
escalates,
different.
and then it's
All right.
just
Well, it shows.
I'll
that
give it
this-
a watch then.
It shows that the rage that you could get from that situation kind of
Right.
comes from the same place that love can, and
Okay.
it has that same amount of emotional strength.
Okay.
And that's what I've gathered from it. Elijah, you'd like it because there's a lot of reference like '90s music in it too, as well.
huh, nice.
and early 2000s alt rock and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, just because of their age group.
Fair enough.
Like, but I also
At least
started
they worked
watching.
that into it. That's good.
I started also watching the new season of Dave.
That show's good.
I haven't checked it
Yeah.
out before.
Oh man, that's good. That one's
Right.
good. This what was I watched the Rick Ross
3
episode.
seasons of that?
Oh
Right.
man, that one was crazy.
It was good. I like that one. They're good. There's that one where they're filming the music video. That one stressed you out too, Max.
Yeah.
It was
Every
like all
episode of
like
that show
In
is
what sense?
stressful.
In what sense?
it was they're filming a music video, so it was
Yeah.
all on set, and then like he's like, so Dave is a little Dicky. He's a MC.
Okay.
Little kind of like his music's good. Like he's got bars. That's for sure. He kind of like teases.
But he's
him.
funny too. He's really
really
funny.
funny. He's worked with the likes of Snoop Dogg and
Okay.
but yeah, so he got a show, which is like a good step for him as an artist, I think. And that episode we're talking about is like he's reached like massive success at this point, and he's doing like a music video in his hometown, and the whole episode is just them filming, and us coming from like working on film. It's just like, oh, I would hate him so much if I was working
Gotcha.
on this.
All right. Okay. So,
He's
so
like
it has that kind of
you'd be the
intensity.
worst
All right.
person to
Fair
be
enough.
to have on set, to have running your show, to have doing
Yeah.
anything. It's like everything that happens, he's unhappy with, and he wants changes on the fly. It's just
Yeah.
hours of work people put into stuff he disregards, and he'd be the
You're
worst.
the anchor man.
Yeah. Yo, but yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we're
just
back
like
this
you
week.
just changing the script as we go. Oh man,
Okay.
it's frustrating. But I mean, like, it's the thing, and when they always film sets, it's always never exactly like.
Right.
I did love the bit they had about the kids though, and the school schedules, because that was so real and just true and accurate. I was like, oh man, they put way too much thought into just figuring out these fictional kids' schedules.
Yeah, that was realistic too. That's just like one of the things I always think of when I watch Abbott Elementary. Like on paper,
Right?
that would be like a mess of a show to work on because of the amount of kids that you got to work with. Because you know what all comes with that. But,
At least you're in a school.
yeah, right.
What else is going on? Any new comics or anything, Max? Or
Oh yeah, a bunch of cool stuff came out this week.
Oh, yeah?
I went to a signing and got like 50 stuff signed. I knew it was going to be.
again?
I knew it was like a low key signing, and it was like the writer of Captain America, X-Men. Well, it was like a few writers, but like I brought just a lot of stuff. I ended up chatting with them for a while. I found
Oh, cool.
out that the
Awesome.
writer of X-Men has been in a fantasy football league with John Hamm for like he said since before Mad Men. And
Okay.
he kept sneaking in John Hamm references into X-Men
Right.
books. I'm like, I had
He
to
knows
ask
him
him,
personally.
Oh, really?
like, what's
Oh,
the
that's
deal
funny.
with this? Like, I have this one X-Men book signed by him and John Hamm that I got at a
Right.
store. I'm like, what's the deal with all these John Hamm X-Men stuff?
Uh-huh.
Apparently, John Hamm's a big X-Men fan.
Right.
He's got a. Who would he play? Who would
That's
he
funny.
be good for in an
Mr.
X-Men movie?
Sinister.
Mr. Sinister.
That's who he was cast to play in. I don't know what movie he was supposed to be in, but they teased it in a few things. They teased it in, I think, The Wolverine. You get an Essex Corp thing, and then in New Mutants, no one's gonna see it. So there's a big thing in the whole movie where it's one of the big. It's run by Essex Corp.
All right.
So they're building up Mr. Sinister to be a big threat of whatever the next X-Men movie was, and John Hamm was attached to it.
He would be good. He would be a good Mr. Sinister in a Deadpool movie.
Yeah, he would.
That would be perfect. I'd like that because he's a funny guy, John Hamm.
Yeah, it's funny.
Right.
Yeah, he's like, I feel like his passion is comedy.
Right.
And they just got locked in as Don Draper, you know.
It's funny. That's what he was telling me, is that he's been an improv guy for years, and he was trying to cut it in the comedy scene, and he couldn't make it in comedy because he's too good looking.
But like the SNL stuff he does is great though.
Yeah. He's done a lot of good comedy stuff.
Yeah.
That's cool.
30 Rock is great.
I want to know what's your average amount of comic books you get signed a week, Max, if you were to average it out through the whole year.
It seems to be 50.
Man. I don't know. It depends what's happening. It's like
some weeks you don't, but then this last week I got like 50.
Yeah.
So
10 a week.
My question is more like, of your collection, what percentage of your collection is signed?
That's a good question. Probably, I don't know.
Like, I would think more than
90%.
half of your comic books are signed.
Yeah,
like you get everything signed. You have like almost everything signed.
Well, it depends on how much
No,
comic
really,
you
it depends.
has.
Because a lot of them are signed by the same people. Because it's like
Gotcha.
some people will come back to stores, and people who live
So you get
locally.
one book assigned by multiple, like an artist or writer or whatever. You know,
Get
Some
them signed
books,
like a stamp card.
Max,
like a movie poster where you get like everybody involved.
You get a free trade if you get 5 signatures on this comic.
Max,
I do have an ASM 800 signed, no, 900 signed by like 6 people. Like
I got this one
almost
signed
all
by
the
the
creative
assistant
team.
editor.
Max, I am curious. I'm very curious on this. If you get a very old comic signed by the artist or whatever, does that usually increase the value at the end of the day?
No,
If that's
well,
already
in my case, no.
Oh, really?
I don't get them witnessed and CGC'd. So
Gotcha.
unless I get them verified signature to
Okay.
something like CBCS, most grading companies and most valuers will just see it as they'll count it as just writing on the book and
on
scribble.
the
in
book.
the
So
Max,
in
like,
other words, it could
you can take
devalue.
a photo of them while they're signing it. If you can snap a photo while they're signing it, that's your proof.
Yeah, I don't usually do that. I mean,
You need a witness. You need a war boy there with you to yell witness as it gets signed, right?
But
I have some people I
on-
have photos with, like Jerry Conway. I got a photo with him because he's done so much cool stuff.
Gotcha.
I should have gotten a photo with Marv Wolfman, but he was too. He was signing so much stuff.
ultimately, you
gotta
can-
hold
you
up the
can put-
newspaper at the
Yeah,
same
but-
time. while you take a picture.
But I'm saying, but ultimately, you can devalue a really expensive comic by having an artist sign it without any sort of.
I just got the first appearance of Tim Drake, which isn't necessarily the most expensive book,
Right.
but some collectors might be after. It's a pretty good high grade copy, but I got signed by Marv Wolfman, the creator,
Right.
and it is just raw, ungraded,
Ungraded,
just
yeah.
and if I got it graded, it'd be lower grade because it has just writing on the cover.
A signature without a ticket of
fascinating.
a signature without a ticket of authenticity is just damage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right here. Yeah.
yeah, totally. What about you, Elijah? What's been going on? Anything cool happening this week or?
No, it's been pretty slow.
Pretty
I
slow,
was
yeah?
gonna go to. I just keep pushing the whole punk rock museum thing. Keeps getting pushed back.
Really?
I was gonna go this week. I actually reserved a room and everything because it was like super cheap. Like I got a room for like $29 or something like that. And
Vegas,
then I
right?
canceled it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I canceled it just because, everything else involved, getting out there and all that stuff. I'll have to wait another couple of weeks.
Gotcha.
So, still waiting to do that. And I don't know. Everything else has still been slow.
Yeah.
Waiting things for things to
$29 for a room. Was someone killed in there the night before or something? Like,
no, it was promoted. You know, it was like one of the rare times. You know, when they say that you can get rooms for that cheap, it was one of the rare times where they were running a promotion, and it was It was only like through the whatever. I was looking online. It's only through certain, you know, Monday through Wednesday or whatever.
Okay.
It was at the Horseshoe, which used to be the Bally's.
Oh yeah.
But you could still get that price next month. I saw prices for $29. So
there you go.
That's dope.
Anybody that wants to go to
Vegas, yeah. One of the projects I worked on about 2 weeks back ended up by getting set up. It was for the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 promo piece that was out at as you're heading out towards Coachella. So they had this great big display. I did some bits and pieces. I didn't do the whole thing. I was working with a team of people that put this together.
I think in the industry they call that an activation.
An activation, yeah. So yeah, pop-up booth kind of thing, and I did things like little details and bolts and stuff like that I created with 3D printing, and I reproduced a arm of Nebula. James Gunn managed to retweet it, kind of thing. So it was kind of cool. But yeah, that was kind of fun. That's I think finishes today. I think I'm not too sure.
No, it goes until next week.
Oh, goes to
Coachella's 2 weekends. It's this weekend.
Oh, but this actual this pop-up bar I think was only for today. I could be wrong.
This year, Coachella.
Yeah, it's Friday to Saturday on that poster.
Saturday. Yeah.
I don't see why
they're actually streaming
Yeah.
online, so you could watch Coachella if you wanted.
They do that. They've been doing that for the last couple of years.
Oh, they have?
Not for Guardians 3, for a pop-up piece that went out on display. So it was under Marvel, but it was like totally separate. I was working with another company, so. But
you just built part of a bar and a celestial skull that happens to be on Earth.
There you go, exactly. Other than that, yeah, it's been a pretty quiet week. I've been doing some 3D printing stuff from home. I did actually end up by getting this. I walked into a Target store and found the Clone Trooper helmet, and I'm going to be building these little bases eventually for putting helmet displays on and design my own stuff with it. So I figured I'd get one with a Clone Trooper, which was kind of cool. I was like, ooh, cool, nice.
That's cool, man.
Don't have a Clone Trooper helmet, but it fits pretty well. I mean, it's kind of cool, actually. It's I haven't got batteries in there, but there's like a voice changer and all that sort of stuff. I did an unboxing the other day, which was kind of fun. But yeah, other than that, nothing much else really going on.
The voice changer gives you a New Zealander accent.
There you go, exactly. Yes, yeah, it sounds
That'd
like.
Be cool.
Hey, Malloy, how's it going?
Malloy, we're innocent men.
But apart from that, not much else. Apart from that, there's been a few bits and pieces during the week. We were going to touch base with Mando. We'll probably finish up with Mando episode 23. Or what should I say? Chapter 23, because that's quite a bit to talk about. There's some fun stuff that went in this week's Mandalorian. I did want to also kind of touch base on the last day of Star Wars Celebration. There's some news there. And we also got a couple of trailer drops this week. One for the Marvels, and as Elijah had pointed out beforehand, there's also one for the new Gremlins Mogwai piece as well, which actually maybe we'll put that on first. Let's talk about the Gremlins Mogwai. Oop, wrong one. Did you guys get the chance to see this new Gremlins animated show trailer?
Oh, I didn't watch it yet. So
we haven't watched
it. I didn't watch it. Oh, okay.
Okay, all right. Okay.
It'll be a raw reaction from me.
It'll be a raw reaction from Jason. Yeah. So this is kind of like animated, very CG, and it's got a huge cast to it.
The style looks good for everything. You know, I'm interested in where the story will go.
Yeah. All right. Let's start this off. Okay.
That's cool, Anchorman. Congrats, man. It's cool to have a Lego figure of yourself.
That's cool.
Magic is all around.
So
There's no such thing.
Gather round. I bring you a creature only whispered about.
It looks like they're taking it right back. Yeah.
It can't be.
Yeah, it's unique. But it is Gizmo.
Gizmo.
Yeah.
Well, it's just the name they give. It doesn't mean that it's actually
right.
Gizmo.
The same one,
like,
yeah, because it looks like it's a
whatever.
totally different time period.
Yeah.
It's got his patterns.
Yeah, it has.
I'm Sam.
I mean, he's just Gizmo. Maybe he's like,
Gizmo's ancient. He's an ancient.
Yeah, he's like
He could
Yoda
be,
age.
yeah.
He's like
Yeah.
600 years old.
That makes sense. That could work. Oh,
Well, this is the secret, so maybe we don't know what happened. He could be
Yeah.
Steve Rogers.
Concerns.
Yeah, he got
Yeah.
frozen.
You must return him
but it
to
is
his
produced by
home.
Spielberg, so it's like, yeah.
Yeah, and
Coming with
I'm going blank on his Joe Dante. Yeah.
Joe Dante, yes, yeah.
We have a map that no one understands except a magical squirrel that speaks gibberish.
I hope
I'm guessing
this gets
he
more
doesn't
recognition than the Usagi Yojimbo anime that came out, animated show that came out.
Yeah. It looks very bright and colorful, though. Very stylized.
He would do anything to get these
I mean,
Mogwais.
I still want to see another Gremlins film on the big screen, just because that's so
I think that's one of the remakes that could do really well and
Yeah.
like
See,
would be
we've got
funny.
Sandra Oh, Bowen Yang. We've got
So, yeah, good cast.
It's
There's
really
no
good
reason,
cast.
yeah.
All the heavy hitters in the Asian
Yeah.
community.
No, totally, yeah.
Bo and Yang.
Coming up soon. May 26th, May 23rd.
Nice.
Yeah.
So do all Mogwais that spawn from accidental moisture come out evil, right?
I don't know. They
I don't
could have
know.
skipped that because they showed
What they give us,
Well,
that's
how did Gizmo,
like,
though?
according to the
Well,
lore
and-
that we've experienced,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
seems to be the case.
But in that,
Gizmo's
unless it was like
only
a editing
nice-
thing,
Huh?
in that trailer, unless it was an editing thing, they showed Gizmo or a Mogwai getting wet, and then immediately from that, Gremlins were coming out, like the scaly
Right.
Gremlins.
Yeah.
It's a new
So,
animated series. I don't know
Maybe
how long.
maybe the rules are slightly different, and like like
I guess that's just like the unnatural way that they're
if
spawned.
Gizmo's getting
Yeah.
introduced like in daylight, does that mean are the rules different? Can they not be in daylight? Like look like he was, it's not like he
They
was.
might refine the rules a little bit for a new generation.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, they could. I mean, but there's only 3 rules when it comes to
I know.
Mogwai.
Until
It's
now.
like,
Those
you
rules
can't
are
really
like
alter
pretty
them
weird.
that massively.
They're pretty
Yeah.
weird rules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just if you take him
Don't
out the
get
sunlight,
him
does it mean if it's
wet.
cloud cover that it's not gonna hurt him?
Yeah. Like direct sunlight. What kind of sunlight?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
vampire sunlight. Like
Yeah, it's like partial shadows.
Any light is okay.
Water and
yeah.
sunlight at the same
That's it.
time.
Yeah.
like a
exactly.
flashlight will scare them, but like a lamp in the room that's on while you're watching TV is
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. Yeah. The TV brightness won't affect them. It's like
Yeah.
It's just like UV light. That
It could be
that-
UV.
right,
It could be
right.
UV light, but
Right.
Anyway,
Or Gremlins watching a movie.
Sure.
The movie they won't get burned by the movie projector, but like they'll get burned by your flashlight.
Yeah.
Either direction. I'm curious to see what it's like as a show.
Will
Again,
Gizmo
great
become
voice cast.
Can a gremlin regress back to a Mogwai? No, right?
I don't know. They've
think
never.
so.
I mean,
See, this is their
maybe we'll
chance
get
to
that.
this is their chance to
Yeah.
expand the lore because
Oh,
like,
yeah,
what you have
I
to
agree.
work with
Work
is
that out.
not very much, based on like 2
Yeah.
movies.
Will Gizmo become a gremlin? Who knows? I mean, I don't know how.
I would like to know what
I-
Gizmo's gremlin would look
The-
like too.
Yeah,
fact
I
is,
don't think there's any
if-
going back after you turn to a
if-
gremlin.
Joe Dante's wanted to continue this genre for a while now, and he's part of the original creation of the Gremlins, idea kind of thing. And so ultimately, I'm hoping that he's still got his, it seems like he's got his wits about him about what he wants to do and what he's wanted to do for years. So hopefully we'll get to see some of that explored in this series.
What was
and
the
then-
main motivation to make gremlins? Was puppetry, right?
The main motivation.
Puppetry technology,
yeah,
right?
And like
puppetry.
Spielberg wanted to seems like a good picture. Let's make
I
it.
think he wanted to do a
You could
horror
do, like,
creature at
puppets.
Christmas. No, his main motivation was he wanted to do something horror at Christmas time, and he got to do that. He got to play horror genre in Christmas, and
Yeah.
because it was actually the opposite of E.T., which was. Wait, what was I going with that? E.T. was more kind of
E.T.
like
meets critters.
E.T. meets no E.T. It was more E.T. was around
Right?
Halloween.
Critters
And-
Critters is kind of like that
Yeah.
same. Wait, was Critters after Gremlins, right? What was
Yes.
Critters?
Yeah. Critters were definitely after Gremlins.
I so
If
want
not, like
Goonies
maybe probably the year afterwards or something like that. Like Munchies, Critters, Ghoulies, like all of those came right after
Yeah.
Gremlins.
Yeah, for sure.
They became the genre like puppet, like
the small creature.
the puppets.
You know?
It's time for the Gremlins to make the return. And despite how cheesy Gremlins 2 was, I loved it as much as I enjoyed
Gremlins 2 is a gem.
It's a shift of medium now.
That's a gem.
Totally.
That's like it's a different type of movie, but it's like it's so unapologetically like a sequel. It's like we're going for it, you know.
For sure. No, totally.
I love the Key and Peele sketch about Gremlins too.
It's the best thing on.
Which one?
That's the best thing I've ever seen.
What sketch?
Really so great.
Key and Peele, they it's the idea of the people who pitched Gremlins 2, and it's just like they go through every weird aspect of it.
I've never seen that.
In the
find out how
room.
ridiculous it is. Like
you should bring that up right now. It's hilarious.
Really? Well, we've got enough.
You'll watch it later.
Today, but I'll watch it later for sure. That's cool. It looks fun.
I mean, it's perfect nostalgia bait for you guys. Right?
Oh yeah, absolutely, and
hopefully
it'll be
that
interesting.
IP.
The trick is getting, kids of today to, purchase the toys and the figures and stuff like that. Actually, come to think of it, there has been a lot of Gremlins reproduction toys made in recent years too. So
it's like a sellable thing. Like Mogwais are cute, Gremlins are cool looking.
I went to a Target store. There was the Spider Gremlin from Gremlins 2 in the store. It's expensive,
and it's such attached to Warner Brothers. I'm surprised that like Warner Brothers never really kept them around because they make sense. Like
Gremlins have made some very smart decisions in the
all
last
the time.
15,
It just seemed like years. That would be their little. I don't know. It seemed like a good property for them.
Well, I mean, they at the time it was a huge sensation, and they took like total advantage of it. Like how much millions did they make off of like merch for Gremlins back in the 80s?
We saw the film. My father took my brothers and myself to go see Gremlins like a couple of days after Christmas. It was the perfect Christmas film. Yeah. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I think that's a good Christmas film. Yeah, it's scary. It scared the hell out of me when I was a kid.
Oh, I was 14, 1984? Yeah, I was 14. It was just like, no, I enjoyed every part of it. It was great. It was so much fun.
Yeah, because you're much older.
Well, I know. But still.
I was a 4-year-old kid.
Fair enough. There was that.
You know what? Every time I see those chair lifts for stairs, I think of that movie.
Yeah. Oh, me too.
Like
absolutely. Yeah, the electric chair was Mrs. Deagle gets it and they rewire her wiring and she shot out the window.
The only reference point that ever has with me is Gremlins. I'm like, it is one of those things from the Gremlins.
Every time. I agree there, Jason. Every time. The other thing, actually, there was something else I saw this week. Actually, I saw a couple of things this week. I saw I finally got to see the Super Mario Brother movie, and it's doing really well. It's like, literally in the last week and a half, 2 weeks it's been released. It's made $659 million worldwide.
That's not surprising.
No, in what sense? Because
Mario's one of the biggest IPs ever, man.
Yeah, but they've done Mario before. What makes this different?
Because this is way decades after it's been established, and like now they're sticking true to like the look and everything like that.
Okay. The look and the stylization and the look.
Consider all of the new stuff that has come out in the Mario franchise since the last movie too.
Yeah,
it's gotten like even more bigger.
Yeah. Well, speaking from a non-understanding outside of the basics, like I know who Donkey Kong is, and I know who Mario is, and I know maybe one or two other characters in the Nintendo universe. I know pretty much nothing. And I enjoyed it as a film. I thought it was just a fun little piece. It was funny, it was witty, it was smart. It left room open for bigger things, and you think that they're going to shoot for the greater, Nintendo world and doing sequels and spin-off stories.
Smash Brothers universe.
Yeah, and doing that in the future. I mean, this film's obviously done well enough that it's going to actually, go somewhere. Hey there, Sucked. How's it going?
I would legit see a Luigi's Mansion movie with Charlie Day's Luigi.
I've never seen the 93
The 93 Mario film is one of my favorites, dude. Really? I really like it.
I heard it's very good. I've never sat and watched it. One day I'll have to.
They reused the boots in Face Off for the prison.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had these like jump boots in Mario. Like, so
Okay.
the Mario
Mario,
movie is like one of the first like adaptations that made it gritty.
Okay.
Like a pretty like just a good example of like a gritty adaptation where they had all the elements, but they
Right.
were delivered in such like a subtle, maybe like a
Okay.
realism way,
Right.
right? Because
Yeah,
there
the
was
way
like
he
a
made
mushroom.
Goombas and Koopas was
Yeah, too real. Like
Yeah,
it's
there
like
was the
Total
science
Recall,
to
but like
it.
too
Like,
dark.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah,
too
there was
like
like an
overly dark.
established universe, and like they thought really hard about this scripts. Like, oh yeah, there's this gap in the universe where people evolved from reptiles instead, and there was like a
Right.
mushroom king who was literally a fungus growing around the city,
Okay.
even down
that
to
was
like a
the weirdest
Bobombi, the
part.
wind up toy.
Fair enough.
There
Just
were
the fungus
plumbers.
and the being trapped in the fungus. Like that as a kid being like, who played a Mario game and decided this should be horrifying?
Right?
That's funny.
That's what's crazy about it. Like they did this crazy adaptation that was probably a nightmare to film, apparently. Like
Oh, my
Bob
uncle
Hoskins
worked on it. My
hated
mom's
it.
brother worked on the movie, and I've
Whoa.
heard horror stories about
Yeah.
the project. But
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard like
yeah.
everyone hated the directors. Bob Hoskins like almost got into a fight with the directors.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Well-
just a nightmare of like as far as like what I hear on set. But I loved that movie as a kid.
Fair enough. I mean,
Well, the
jumping
directors
back-
wanted to make the next Blade Runner movie, but they weren't allowed to. They were told
No.
they had to make a Mario movie,
Oh, really?
and they didn't. They didn't get why they couldn't just make Mario Blade Runner, and they didn't get why the notes they were getting was too dark, too gritty. This is for
wow.
kids. They
It
didn't
pretty much-
understand that.
It had that like really 90s sci-fi look, like in the underground world in Demolition Man, or maybe like
Even
Judge
the poster,
Dredd
I remember
set.
like it was like steel, the Mario
Yeah,
Brothers
yeah.
M. It was like
That's
steel
the
and
great. That's the
Yeah.
realism and grittiness that they adapted to
so
it. You know,
crazy.
Right.
it's kind of like the feel that like Ninja Turtles had in its adaptation.
Did you
Yeah.
guys see the new
Ninja Turtles
trailer
is a
for the
little
new
bit
Ninja
more-
Turtles? I didn't realize there was
Yeah.
a new Ninja Turtles coming out. Did you see that new
Oh
trailer?
yeah, that's really good.
In the trailer, did I see that?
Yeah,
It looked
it's-
alright, yeah.
The stylized animation was a little weird. They tried to do something beyond Spider-Verse kind of style, it felt, but it's unique. It's different. I don't know what the story's
Dude,
going to be like.
the Yoshi in that movie was like a lot of their budget too. Some
yeah.
Oh
really
gosh.
state of the art
Yeah.
animatronics too.
Yeah, it's definitely a different style of animation, but it kind of edges towards that Spider-Verse look and feel.
Dude, I'm stoked about that. I think that looks cool. I like
Yeah.
that they actually seem like teenagers too. This is a good adaptation of the IP. I feel like.
I'm kind of, I liked the idea of the Mel who did those movies? Michael Bay, those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies. I liked that kind of vibe where they were a little bit older, and I don't know.
Dude, I like the second one with Bebop and Rocksteady is awesome.
That was cool. That was
Such
cool.
a good movie. Like,
Yeah.
I do like that vibe where they were, let's just take them into a big budget like action madness. I think that was fun for the
that's
Turtles.
the use of the IP. The most
Yeah.
loyal use of an IP I've seen in a while
Yeah.
was Out of the Shadows, the Ninja Turtles movie. They had
Yeah.
like they had the dump truck, like
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
shooting
with
with
the yeah.
had, like sewer lids and everything. He had like the nunchuck arm.
Yeah. I
It was
Little
really
surf-
loyal.
I remember the
snowboard
director
scene.
when he was just a student
Yeah.
at one of the schools I worked at.
That was
But
a fun movie.
Rocksteady design was like really good too.
Yeah.
But it was kind of weird that they're like, it's your inner animal.
Yeah.
That was a
Doesn't
kind of
really
weird.
matter. They just needed some way to explain it.
Yeah. But that is
was it
cool.
Stephen Amell was playing
Yeah, he was Casey Jones.
Casey Jones? That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that.
Kind
for
of a
while.
bootlicker, but whatever,
Yeah. And we just got sidetracked once again. Anyway, back to Mario just very quickly. Yeah, as a film, I enjoyed it. Definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it. It was definitely
What do you think,
fun.
Max? You think they'll do a Smash Brothers universe?
Okay, I already was when I was watching the movie. All I was thinking about all the spin-offs they were setting up. They set up a Donkey
sure.
Kong movie
Absolutely.
pretty blatantly. They set up Luigi. They subtly set up Luigi's Mansion with the just the way they had Luigi in his own doing what he was doing and his own vibe of the story.
That in the trailer.
Okay, wait. Just someone's got to explain this to me because I have no idea what it is. That little blue star that was like the most creepiest freaking thing on the planet was extremely funny, but extremely
that little
creepy.
fireball guy.
Yeah, what's
no? It's a star from
It's a
Super
star.
Mario.
What is that in the
Odyssey?
game? What is it in the game?
So in in one game, Mario goes to space and he's exploring all these different planets, and he's got to collect. Mario's always collecting stars. Okay. And in one game, the stars are like sentient, and he's got to I think bring him back home or something. I can't remember the exact plot of that game, but they usually just had no personality. They just give you dialogue to push the story along. But in the movie, they just decided to make it. He's pretty hell bent on trying to die.
It was so creepy and wrong, but it was funny as hell.
It's so good.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on from Mario.
There's so many elements to work with in that IP too. So
sure.
I see them making a Mario Kart movie.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a given. I think they'll do that before they do a Smash Brothers movie.
So Donkey Kong is automatically linked to Mario universe anyways. I mean, that's when Mario was introduced.
Yeah.
But for a Smash Brothers, they'd have to have Pokemon, Kirby, Zelda.
I don't think they'd have Pokemon. I think Pokemon would be its own IP. I think they'd let that stand off. But I think they'd probably until at least probably the third Smash Bros. Movie. But I think they'd have
You got Star Fox,
put any Nintendo character Metroid.
I think they'd definitely have Captain Falcon, not Pikachu. They'd have Star Fox, Metroid, or Samus. They'd have a lot of fun people. Yeah. Falco.
Chris Pratt was fine. I mean, I know that there was a lot of consensus on having a more authentic voice for the character, but I felt that they kind of played off on the usage of being a New Yorker and stuff like that well enough for me to kind of say, okay, this is where they're going with this particular version.
And they explain it nicely.
Yeah. But you could see, no, probably not. I wouldn't even know where to begin. I couldn't even play Pac-Man as a kid because I was so disjointed when it came to playing that. I actually played Donkey Kong once in a while, and I kept on dying all the time. It was like, nah, not my thing.
I think you're talking about you playing Mario in the movie, not you playing Mario.
Okay. I thought you meant the game. Okay, fair enough. Alrighty. Let's move on. Anyway.
Brent always loves the moment to talk about how much he's bad at video games.
Yes, well, I am. I'm terrible at it. I am terrible. That's why
I could be wrong, but I think that's what he was saying.
But it was a fun film. Did you guys also see this news during the week that the Harry Potter television series, which I've been kind of saying is probably going to happen for years, is entirely going to be brand new cast and moving forward on Max. By the way, Max being the
Wizard.
HBO Max, not Max. Yeah.
The Wizard isn't that just a huge Nintendo commercial?
I have no
the
idea.
Movie from
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it was.
But what are your thoughts on Harry Potter? It's been 20 years since the first one came out, more or less, and
I don't think they should give J.K. Rowling any more money.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that boat.
The pushback is probably from a lot of the Harry Potter fans.
Right.
This is their Lord of the Rings, Star Wars.
I get that, because I do feel a little. I mean, Lord of the Rings is another IP they're about to revamp after 20 years, and so the movies of the original cast are not going to mean anything, and it's kind of a weird sensation for me to sit and watch them want to redo Lord of the Rings because it's so fresh in my mind still. And I assume for the Harry Potter fans, it's the same way. I'm not as attached to Harry Potter as I am to Lord of the Rings. But sorry, Elijah.
It's a little early for them to be doing that. It's what? Why? It's
just blatantly money hungry,
Yeah,
it's pretty monkey.
Yeah,
it's a cheap grab, man.
It's a really cheap.
Not even trying to be sneaky about it.
The only thing I'd say with the Harry Potter TV series is they get to explore the books a little bit more. So it did feel very empty in some places for me in the films.
It's an automatic loss because they'll never have Alan Rickman.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, they're going to recast everybody anyway, but it's like
and a John Williams score. Like there was so much going for them. Like,
yeah, I think they're going to keep that score. They're going to keep that theme and that score.
I think they're keeping the music. I think they're actually keeping.
Yeah, it won't be John Williams composing it, but they will keep they're not going to turn away from that. Because it's the one thing
I think they'll keep the main music and they'll keep the overtures, but they'll have a new person recomposing them.
Oh, completely. Yes, yeah, and then they'll break away and do different stuff all the way through. But
do you think they'll do that? You honestly think they'll keep the music?
Absolutely, because it's in the freaking
for the announcement
everywhere when you go to the castle and you go to Universal.
But that's the thing.
Studios
the castle's based on
it's
the
all
movie.
it's all over the theme park.
But that's is
they're going to use the castle too.
But there is such a stylized.
They actually used
Potter the same way as there is a stylized look for the Lord of the Rings.
It's just there's so much established based on the movies.
Almost like it just it's like they rebooted.
Well, they just made a video game and they used that same stylization.
Right. Yeah.
They just made a video game and used all that stylization for the game.
The whole Harry Potter land is based on a book. See, I get the game being like
but isn't it based? Yeah, correct.
Takes place in that world,
right? Mm-hmm.
But it's a different time. So, like the characters that we know of aren't there yet, right?
What? No, for the TV series?
No, in the game.
Oh, the game. Oh, I don't
know.
No,
in the game, it's like the 1800s, something like that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so it's still that same timeline of like, so eventually they'll be
unless when you said the word game
or whatever.
I know, but like they're keeping the look of Hogwarts the same to across everything now. So when they redo the show, it's all gonna be the same. That way they don't need to change the castle. They just have one Hogwarts.
Yeah, that's
so
what it feels
weird
like
to me.
do.
That just
it's like if you remake Star Wars, you're not turning Death Star into a cube.
But like you're totally designing a newer Death Star, right?
They've already done that
necessarily.
I mean,
they didn't cast Luke in like Han Solo and stuff like that. That's what this is like. It's so weird.
No, you're right. Yeah, but
like,
I do think they probably asked the actors for a sequel, and all the actors said no. So then they decided to do a remake instead.
Yeah. Basically, back at the end of the day, my only offensive thing is that J.K. Rowling has proven to herself to be a bit, prejudiced and.
She's just not a nice person. Don't give her. She has enough money. She doesn't need to be an executive producer on a Harry Potter remake.
Right.
She has no good original. I've read all those Harry Potter books. Mm-hmm. Very little of those ideas are original. Some of them are good. Some of them are bad. Yeah. There's good parts. There's bad parts. I don't think she's a good writer. I think she's pretty mediocre.
So she sticks to kids' books.
I know exactly. She
it's for young adults and inexperienced readers.
People they throw billions and billions of dollars at her and claim it because she's the only person that can theoretically use wizards and not have someone else saying, "Well, you're copying this or that."
Yeah. She monopolized wizards the same way Jurassic Park monopolized dinosaurs.
Exactly. And they're keeping her around so they can still use, magic and sorcery and wizards and Harry Potter. But what she brought to the table was the least original stuff about Harry Potter.
Yeah. Anyway, I was just wanted to get your thoughts on that. The other thing that dropped this week earlier was a Penguin trailer. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked good.
Yeah, Colin Farrell returns. Yeah.
I do want to be more than just a mob show.
Right.
Yeah. It looks like it's all has the same like lighting and tone. It's like they sliced it right out of the movie. It's like additional cuts from the Batman, it feels like. And that's a good job.
I think that's the idea. They want it to be the Reeves verse to have a look and feel to it that you always feel like you're in Gotham. You don't feel like you're changing around and jumping to different projects. You just feel like you're in Gotham.
Yeah. But that was what bothered me about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like it looked cheaper.
Yeah.
And everything else, and that always bothers me when it's supposed to be like the same world.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's the helicarrier. You have one room.
Yeah, so it maintains that consistency of what the Batman had, which I'm really excited about.
Right.
Man, Colin Farrell is in that makeup full time. Crazy.
Yeah. I just want the show to be, more than just a mob show starring the Penguin. I wanted to, to intertwine Gotham into it and have it feel like Gotham and not just a mob. And then there's like Sopranos or a mob show or something like that, where it's trying to do an elevated mob show. I want it to be more Gotham.
It could easily happen, right? With something like this.
Yeah.
It could easily happen where it just could be another mob show. They just say, well, the main character is just called the Penguin.
Could
But
be.
Yeah. And then they
Depends
just
on
like,
the time period.
you'll hear like human names, like names from other people and characters.
I
and stuff.
assume this Penguin is post the Batman at that point, so.
Yeah, because there's
Yeah,
that they're playing with that power void, the vacuum.
Yes.
Since
it looks like they're playing off of No Man's Land.
Yeah.
is it
But if
Maroni
they're
or
playing off of No Man's Land, they need other Batman villains. You can't just have Penguin. You need to have Scarecrow. You need to have
Yeah.
Freeze. You need to have all the other villains taking their own
Yeah.
sector of Gotham.
Clayface?
Yeah.
I don't think Clayface had a story in. Oh, he had a story in No Man's Land, but I don't think he had a sector of Gotham that he controlled.
Yeah.
You think we'll get who's that? Who's the marionette? Puppet
Oh,
Scarface. Scarface.
Scarface.
We usually
Scarface.
talk about
Yeah,
stuff.
Scarface. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I would love to see Scarface.
Yeah.
That would be
Ventriloquist.
That would be fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be fun. That's a character
That
we haven't
guy-
seen in live action.
Black Mask, maybe. You get a lot of like, there's like heavy mob vibes from
A lot
Batman.
of
anyway,
stuff
so
they've been doing
there's a
with
lot-
Batman live action has been more recent stuff. And yeah, I mean, if they take a little bit of the older comic stuff that really was played around within the Batman animated series, then we've got a lot of
Like
interesting other characters.
like the Joker's boners.
Okay.
Well, if anyone knows like the old comic strip of Joker's
Oh.
boners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about when Batman says to Dick Grayson, "Looks like you need some hard dick from your old pal Batman." It's one of my favorite panels of all of Batman history. And
Wait,
shit
wait,
The old,
about,
you want to tap into the OG stuff?
hard dick at the time meant straight talk.
Right. Yeah.
But the way you look at that now, you're like, oh my god, Batman. You're already dressing this kid in a Speedo. Tone it
that's
down.
None of that stuff
funny.
seems right unless delivered with a transatlantic accent, dude.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a hard dicking. This boy needs a hard dick, and I'll tell you what.
Well, I want about some hard dick from your old pal Batman.
Jeez. Oh god.
We don't feel
pal
Hartman to do that
Batman.
voice anymore.
Uh-huh. Yeah,
I
that,
know.
that,
Whoever did Zach Brannigan needs to.
yeah.
Zach Brannigan. I feel like that was
Um,
supposed to be Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah. So one of the other things they dropped this week, jumping to the MCU, was they did drop the Marvels poster and trailer. You guys catch that?
Yeah.
it looked great.
Yeah.
Good use of the Beastie Boys song.
Yeah,
I was
should we-
I was about to say that. I think it improved that trailer. I think that's a,
See-
like so I think it's majority of the reason I like that trailer is because it works so well with that song, or like it's edited
Right.
well to that song. So I'm
It's the
wondering
reason
if they were like,
Elijah loves
I watch
the
that movie like, hey, where's the Beastie Boys?
J.J. Abrams Star Trek, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. Do we want to play it, or do we just want to
Yes.
talk about it?
Let's play
Okay.
it.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay.
So what?
So
what,
yeah,
what
maybe
you
the volume
want?
down, but at the same time,
I like that Earth is getting their own jump point. That's kind of cool.
yeah. Is that what's going on? Okay. All right. Oh, okay.
That's what I'm guessing. That's what I'm taking
I
away
don't
from
know why they're calling it Saber. Saber doesn't exist in the comics. There's sword,
Uh-huh.
there's shield, there's a
Yeah.
few other branches, but I don't know. if
Established
Saber-
already.
Right.
It's been established in the MCU.
I just
Center
love
of-
how.
sword.
I just
Oh,
have,
Saber. Oh, no, I was
Yeah.
thinking of a sword.
I love how she.
Yeah,
gets so
sword has been
excited.
established, but I don't know what Saber is. That's one thing that really I don't know what they mean.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was, some people thought it was a typo or like an error in the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
How
this-
weird would that be?
The
to see a
dynamic of being jumping
deviant
between
part of
three different
yourself?
bodies is fun, which is cool. I just love how excited she freaking looks every time we see her character. That's what I loved about Miss Marvel. I thought she was
Like-
awesome.
Nick Fury's a public figure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he had to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be fish out of water scenarios by the feel of it, which is kind of fun. And I'm excited to see that. Like, this, you see aliens for the first time.
Brent just loves Kamala Khan.
I think she's a great character, and I want to see what goes on with Monica Rambeau as well. It looks like we're going to be getting some very Bollywood vibes too, which is going to be fun.
More cats?
Yeah.
I like the new suits.
Yeah.
She's the Genus Vell style, like dark blue and like red with a big logo.
Yeah. So we got November. I mean, we got Guardians of the Galaxy before then, which I keep forgetting we're going to get tickets for that. Check it out and see. But yeah, I'm kind of excited for the Marvels, and I'm not as excited, surprisingly, for Guardians 3 right at the moment. I'll probably change my mind when I'm in the chair and watching it, but I'm just not hyped up for it. I feel like that there's been such a long gap and period of time for Guardians 3, and
I'm just really interested to see how he does the High Evolutionary. To me, I can't picture the High Evolutionary without Mr. Sinister. So I really want to see how he does his origins and what he does with the character.
Yeah,
I like that Star-Lord references RoboCop when talking about him already. So that got that out of the way for me. So
yeah,
Adam Warlock too. There's gonna be a bunch of stuff in this that's gonna make it interesting.
You know what? That's a good thing. You're not stoked because now you know. Like
that's it.
Like some of my favorite Marvel movies that came out, I was not that excited for.
Right.
Like Winter Soldier, for instance. Like I was like, all right, cool, I'll watch that, man. It's gonna be hard to follow up Avengers, but then I was like, oh man, it's my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty hyped up for this new element of Quantum Mania, and I was greatly let down.
Yeah, so like
what I was expecting did not end up by coming to pass, and
and it's how I felt about like Multiverse of Madness too, you know. But like,
has it been 5 years? Oh my god!
Yeah, it's been a while.
Crazy. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it'll be. My brain is not concluding how they're going to shut down these characters permanently, and keep.
I think it's pretty simple.
Gone. I mean, well, kill them all. Obviously, seems like that. But I don't think. Do you really think they're going to kill off all these characters and make way for a set of Guardians?
Rocket.
I think Drax will die. But do
Groot
you think
Groot will live? Because he died in the first.
Okay, my whole theory is I think Rocket will die, but he will die the hero of Half-World. He will die saving all of the people that, the High Evolutionary messed up, and he's going to die, and they're going to. He's not going to die a Guardian. He's going to die the hero of Half-World. It's going to be a big change for him, where it's he's not ashamed of who he is anymore.
By himself, or he's going to take someone else with him?
What was that?
Do you think he'll die by himself, or do you think he'll take somebody else with him, or do you think?
I think Drax will die. I think he'll. Yeah. They'll probably take down the High Evolutionary together. I think Star-Lord will set off into the sunset to be used again in Secret Wars. Mantis will stay around. Gamora probably get her ending, kind of.
Okay.
I think Groot will stay around. He's too much of a moneymaker.
And Nebula?
I think Nebula will kick around. I don't think it'll be the end of Nebula. I think she'll just. I don't know. I think we'll have a new Guardians team by the end of it. I think
Sure. Oh, absolutely, we'll have a new team. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like Drax is just due for dead, for sure, and Rocket.
Do we think they're going to introduce?
I think Drax is going to get killed by Adam Warlock. I think Adam Warlock's going to tear him apart.
Okay. Do we think we're going to get a new team of Guardians be slowly introduced here? Do you think that's going to get?
No, they'll just be fragmented. I think they're introducing or they're reintroducing characters like Cosmo, Starhawk. I think characters like Mantis are still fresh and kind of young in the MCU. I think there's a lot of characters that they could introduce to be Guardians. I think they could introduce Nova down the line, and he could have his own solo project. He could be a Guardian. He could be an Avenger. He could be whatever they need him to be at the time.
Right.
I think they'll probably. I really hope they introduce Moondragon, Drax's daughter, into the lore soon, or maybe Phyla Vell would be cool. There's a lot of cool Guardians that they could introduce in the movie.
All right. But we don't think they're going to set up new characters here just so they can be picked up in the future. We think.
I think he'll be dropping nuggets of
right.
characters that exist in the universe.
Okay, all right.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think in every was it the last 2 Guardians that we've gotten mentions of Xandar. And last we heard Xandar was destroyed by Thanos. Xandar is the homeworld of the Nova Corps.
Oh, that's it.
Yes. Like where
that's
you
it.
the Rocket and Groot in the first one.
That's it. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
and
they did say that.
Last we heard, it was destroyed. I think he'll probably pick up on that a little bit, and I'm hoping he introduces Richard Rider or Sam Alexander, one of the Novas.
Right. Well, that's the next film to come out, and that's like 2 weeks away. My goodness, yeah, May 5th.
Wow, that's soon.
Yeah, I know, it's like 2 weeks away. Then we're waiting then we get Secret Wars on TV after that. Then we get
Secret Invasion. I wish you guys Secret Wars show.
Sorry, Secret Invasion.
And then we get
the Marvels in November. So they are pacing it out. We were going to get a lot more dropped this year. I still don't know if Loki is going to get dropped this year now or get pushed to 2024.
I think with everything going on with Jonathan Majors, they're going to be a little quiet about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that dude,
celebrities, man. Why are they getting themselves in trouble all the time?
Well, I don't know why he had to incriminate himself further, and I know what text messages I'll show to make myself look innocent, and it's the girl saying, "I told the police it was my fault. I'm sorry." It's like, what is this guy doing?
Anchorman, I love the Guardians. I'm just not in. Marvel has pulled me down a little bit. And I'm just finding it hard to get excited right now. What's that? Huh?
He's using the word hates. I think it's funny.
Yeah,
there's too much.
Anchorman,
there's too much pop music in that movie for Brent to really like it.
Yeah, he doesn't know.
Where it rubs him the wrong way.
Oh my god!
He's like, I don't know what this is.
Confused by that.
It's not John Williams. I don't know.
Guys! Oh my god!
Why does this music have
Tyler Bates' score is great in the Guardians of the Galaxy, by the way. Just saying. Anyway.
He only likes movie scores.
Any other Marvel news before we move into Star Wars, guys, or anything else?
Tyler Bates made the Marvel fanfare, actually. Yeah.
He also did the Guardians Inferno music too, which we production design that we worked on, art directed, and built. Anyway,
there was some Blade news this week.
Throwing it up there. Oh, Blade. Okay, the movie or the TV series?
Casting changes.
She looks nothing like him.
Wait, are they changing actors?
Mia Goth.
They're keeping Blade as Mahershala Ali.
Okay.
They cast Mia Goth. Right.
Yeah, Mia Goth. That's her name.
Your girl. Your girl, man.
Okay. I don't think I've ever seen anything with Mia Goth in it.
Nymphomaniac?
Oh my god, that is her. You are right. I have seen that. I have seen something with her in it.
I don't watch Barry.
Hey, Malloy, did you hear that? Mia Goth.
Is Malloy still with us?
Rising a role from Nymphomaniac for Blade.
No, I saw the funniest tweet. It's like, it looks nothing like him.
Okay.
When they're just showing a picture of her.
Oh, really? Well, they can do a lot with makeup. So, anyway,
I wonder if Mia Goth would be playing Lilith, the daughter of Satan.
That'd be perfect.
I don't know. Let's
does
move on to
look that way. She has that vibe, you know.
Let's move into Star Wars news, guys.
Satan vibe.
Guess what's out in a week's time?
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
first
they
time
haven't.
It's ever going to be shown to anyone.
But since
find out what happened to your
non-special edition, the 40th anniversary of the original.
This is
last time we checked in on Luke. He just learned Vader was his father.
Yeah, I know.
But let's see how it concludes.
Exactly. I'm looking forward to seeing this on the big screen. This will be a re-release of the 1997 special edition, probably updated with the Blu-ray special edition with a which I'm hoping is not, but I think we're going to get that.
The McClunky version.
Yeah, the McClunky version.
With the blinking Ewoks and...
Yeah, blinking Ewoks. Oh, yeah, I forgot.
And the dance
that was
number
the
with
special
the
edition, wasn't it?
Consoles.
Yeah, but still. I mean, I still want to see Return of the Jedi on the big screen again.
I'd still like to see it. I'll just close my eyes during all this.
During those scenes you don't like. Give me lap to neck over.
Self-edit it up like this.
You don't like that ring on the Death Star explosion, Elijah?
That's okay.
Blinking Ewoks is creepy though. It really is creepy. It like creeps you out if you look closely. It just when they blink,
just as long as they don't cut the Tagalog out.
Yeah,
on what they speak. That's
but,
that's what connected with me so much growing up with Return of the Jedi. Was that the Ewoks speak Tagalog in it?
Oh yeah, the mixture of.
Ayun na maganda.
Yeah.
One of them's looking for Martin Short, too.
And it's like everyone like
says Martin Short. He says Martin
everyone
Short.
in my family was that's like what growing up as a Filipino, you'd always talk about the Ewoks speaking Tagalog because that's the only reference you ever get in pop culture to Filipino culture in anything really.
Yeah.
You know, just the use of an indigenous language.
I was going to say they pick some backwards planet that they could actually use it all, and then.
But you know, in the 80s, you get whatever win you can. You know?
Sure. Yeah. No, totally. Yeah.
Closest to like the Philippines in any pop culture was what? Killing Fields? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway, that
not even
comes
the
out,
Philippines, it's Southeast Asia.
That comes out in about a week and a half's time. Tickets are still not up on pre-order.
I like that poster.
AMC at least. The poster's cool. I'm hoping we get a mini poster of that because I really want to put that mini poster on my wall with the other posters.
I like that poster. I mean, it would be cool to get a full-size poster, but I do like that poster.
Yeah. I've been following the artist of this poster. He's been going back and doing some back issues and stuff like that. It's a very different style than Drew Struzan's work, but it is a style that I'm liking some of the work he's done. So. But along with that, Sideshow are dropping some new toys, 3PO and Salacious Crumb kind of setting, kind of cool bits and pieces.
Legendary team up from that one moment.
The 1 second of him ripping out his eyeball.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Well, I pulled images up last week. They had the Darth Vader with the Emperor over his head, and the skull lights up all blue and everything. I think Max, you were there for that one.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was actually pretty cool. I didn't keep the images in here this week. I should have.
Can you light it lights up too?
Yeah, it lights up the inside of Vader's body, like lights up around the head and the chest plate area, blue.
Does it
in a glow?
Is there a button you press? He goes, no.
Probably not. I hope not. I doubt that very much. So
it's the scene where he doesn't kill Palpatine.
Fair enough. Let's jump across to Celebration. We talked about Celebration last week a little bit, and just to fill in, because Elijah and Jason, you weren't around, but they did drop the announcement for. I think we talked about this on the other channels, but although we did do a special specifically on this day, but they've dropped all these different things, including a movie that's going to take place 25,000 years in the past. One in the
Mando that's era. The timeline.
Yeah,
that's the timeline of movies.
And then the New Jedi Order, which will take place 15 years after Rise of Skywalker.
Wait a minute, this is the timeline for new shows?
No. This is the timeline of existing points in time. So you've got the what's that? The Jedi Order. What's that? The first one is
Dave of the Jedi.
Yeah, Dave of the Jedi. Yeah.
Dawn of the Jedi.
Dawn of the Jedi. Thank you. Oh my God. It's blurry, and I couldn't read it. It's like
you really thought it was Dave for a second.
Shut up! I was trying to figure out who's Dave.
The first Jedi.
He's related to Ethan the Jedi.
So to fill Elijah in here, Dawn of the Jedi was announced as a James Mangold's going to direct a feature film in the next.
That's the first zombie Jedi movie.
This is the first Jedi that come together for the first time, how they become a Jedi kind of situation. Then you got the Old Republic, which is more or less in book form. Then you got the High Republic, which is also in book form. Then you've
got Stoned Republic.
Fall of the Jedi, which is the New Republic, which is the prequels. Then you've got the Empire, which of course is the classic trilogy. Then you've got the Age of the Rebellion, which happens to be. Which is completely like that's the
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian kind of thing. That is the original trilogy. My bad.
Oh yeah, that is right.
Yeah, then you got the New Republic, which is the Mando era. Then you got the First Order, which is of course the sequels, and then you're going to have the New Jedi Order, which will be Rey taking on the new Jedi. Thing. So that's the premise of where they're going to do it. But they are picking 3 movies, one in the Mando era, which is going to tie up all the TV shows into a big event. I don't think it's going to tie them and close them down. It's going to just tie them as being a big event situation between Ahsoka and Mandalorian and Boba Fett and all that stuff.
So is their first time going outside of the kind of
Yes, yeah. This will be. We're going as far forward as we've ever gone before, and we're going as far back as we've ever gone before too.
Because that was kind of like the rule. You couldn't go past the prequels, right? Like,
yeah, it wasn't
before.
More like guidelines, I guess. But
yeah, the guidelines where you couldn't go before or after. You couldn't rewrite their history. Right? You had to go in between their history.
Yes,
but that made it hard for a lot of people to tell good stories.
Oh, absolutely.
It's kind of a short time period when you look at it, like on paper.
Yeah.
Was that a Pirates of the Caribbean reference, Brent? They're more like guidelines.
Yeah, maybe. I hadn't thought about it that way, but yes. Okay.
So yeah, it was kind of like a rule.
Like
you couldn't go beyond that or before. Like it was weird.
Yeah.
Like you had to stay within whatever the original trilogy has established.
And it's not to say that there isn't great stories that can still take place, but I am looking forward to seeing.
I mean, that was
how the Jedi developed.
That was only premise for like video games, if anything, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to see the first droid. I think that'd be a funny scene.
The very first.
I just like to see. I wonder what droids looked like 25,000 years ago. I mean, I assume to keep it.
That's what I was saying when we were talking about last time, the technology of like that long ago. Like, what would be the Star Wars tech that long ago?
But the question is, it wouldn't change too much because there is certain rules and guidelines that have to be kept within the Star Wars tech. It has to be analog mixed in with futurism of some sort. So you've got like old buttons and dials,
so
yeah,
it's a world with already established tech.
Yeah.
So it's like.
I think
it's like a world without spoons,
Yeah, I think we'll get different
spoons
vehicles.
Have always been around. You get like a different type of spoon, but they never really change.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's kind of like established early on, but like the very first one was, I mean, that's where we're at right now,
Sure. Yeah. Oh, totally.
So it'd have to be, if any interest or like any evidence of that already established world, droids would already have been like a part of life.
Correct.
And like no one,
they're not going to be
remembers the first ones. Especially
I don't know. I'm not sure about that because they're a manufactured product. I think there'd have to be a point where there's one guy who invents the droid, and then from there
there'll be an evolution.
It to other planets. It becomes a whole.
It came side by side with like it came parallel with like world travel, like it was probably established as a necessity to go intergalactic. So this world that they're already like a type 2 civilization has always had droids the same way they've always had spaceships.
But there is an evolution. We've seen that because Chopper from Star Wars Rebels is a much older model of an astromech droid. And we've seen that. We also seen BB-8 become a new evolution.
Well, think of what's his name? The David Tennant's droid is ancient.
Oh yes. Hugh Yang. Yes, is his name.
But like it's so. I mean, it would have to go way far back before a Type 1 civilization, right?
Well, I mean, it goes back to
introduce like the first droids,
right? But the first droids might become something closer to Ralph McQuarrie's concept art of 3PO and R2D2.
We've already had that, bro.
Reading the High Republic.
Yeah, but I'm saying those droids could be that old. Some of those droids could be pretty old like that. So we're going to end up by. I mean, there's always going to be a protocol droid of some sort, which is based off of the human form, and there's always going to be an astromech based off of something that's on wheels and
trash can
moves around like a puppy dog or something like that. Yeah. So.
Well, what do you think the first droids looked like?
I don't know. I can't wait for them to see.
What I see is really primitive. Yeah, exactly. I was about to say. A primitive droid to me is probably gonks.
Yeah,
perhaps
load moving droids are just like the mouse droids or something. Totally. Those are going to be like the first little droids that they have.
Yeah, totally. I agree. Yeah.
All mouse droids do is send messages and stuff like that.
Like they're carrier pigeons on the ground. So like send this down 6 miles down the.
That's what happens when you establish a sci-fi world in the 70s.
Yeah, that is so baffling to me though. It's like you see them every time you see a mouse droid, someone's like, "Hey, let me text Brian real quick. Here, take the droid."
We see them in the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars.
R2 is delivering a message that could have been an email.
Yeah,
that's true.
Oh, totally. Yeah. But
That's a good Star Wars.
that goes to the whole
Yeah.
analog. That's what makes Star Wars because it's analog. The moment you
That's
change
what I
all that,
mean by like you
it's gonna
establish a
take-
sci-fi world in
Absolutely.
the 70s where
Correct.
the concept
Exactly.
of an email doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He couldn't even
Yeah.
fathom it. He's like, we're gonna
Yeah.
send this robot on a
Yeah.
spaceship to a princess.
It's
Absolutely.
not wireless at all. Like Han Solo's like earpiece still has a
Yeah.
wire.
Yeah, which is awesome. That's what makes it so beautifully Star Wars.
There's still wires in a
as
world
long
of
as they
tractor
hold
beams.
on to that, then yeah, it's always gonna
Well,
be
that's
Star
the
Wars.
aesthetic, you know.
Oh, yeah,
It-
totally. So
it's supposed to be a lived-in universe, so there's kind of like
yeah. So one of the other
Xbox
things,
out there.
two of the other things that actually dropped at Celebration was they announced Tales of the Jedi Season 2 is going to be happening. I personally was surprised about this. I really thought they might have just stuck it as one season, but it seems like Dave Filoni may or may not be writing a whole bunch of new short stories, and we're going to see.
or it's
other
already
stuff.
written.
He could have already written them. I mean, again, going back to
You never know, he's
Celebration
gonna have
last year.
12 Plo Koon stories ready to go.
Yeah, I'm sure he does. I mean, that's the thing. Like Dave Filoni
There's so many
said-
Jedis to work with.
Oh, completely, and stuff that we hopefully
Dead
will see-
Jedis to work with.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see. I'm hoping this time around we don't get more Ahsoka stories. I mean,
I know. I
think we're
kind
gonna
of feel like
see,
they've done Ahsoka a lot. I thought they've done a lot of the Clone Wars characters a lot.
It's his
so I'd like to
baby.
see-
Yeah.
It's Dave Filoni's baby.
It's his baby, but there's also
yeah,
other
but it's
stuff
Tales
that
of the
he
Jedi.
had.
I want to see
Yeah.
Luke. I want to see
Yeah.
I'd like
Yeah.
to see
Yeah.
High
why
Republic.
Mace.
I want to see
why
Cal
Mace-
Kestis.
Yeah,
I'd like to see why Mace Windu's the way he is. You know.
yeah. I want to see a short story.
It's gonna be
between
Yoda just
Empire
knocking
and-
over his cereal every day for a month.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's just getting hazed extra but compared to every
Yeah.
other Jedi.
Newbie, you are. Cereal you'll have tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah, a story about Rey would be kind of a cool place and a cool premise. If they're going to be kind of pushing towards this, future movie starting up again, was a way they were uncertain for a period of time. Then yeah, maybe one of the Tales of the Jedi could definitely take place. I would like to see a scene take place between, Force Ghost Luke teaching Rey some more stuff, perhaps. Or
I'd like to see the
or-
night that Palpatine got laid.
Heck, I would like
Yeah.
to see. I would like to see the
The one time.
That one time, like how it just happened. You
I-
know, that would be really interesting. Like if we're
Okay,
if we're talking
fair
about
enough.
Rey,
fair
it
enough.
would be kind of cool to see this like Sheev just
Well,
spitting.
see her
Is-
father
is
get
some-
born or something. Yes.
Yeah, some
But he's not
Riz
Jedi, so
from Palpatine.
that's yeah. But I mean,
What
even
about
see,
Finn? Yeah, they can
I would
do
like
it
to see
Finn.
the moments after Return of the Jedi, Luke training
Yeah, right.
Leia. I would like to see that as a little short story. I want
That
to
would
see
be
how
cool.
Leia
That
learns
would be
from
cool.
Luke Skywalker. We know it happened. We've seen it in the flashbacks from and just to do a short story around that time period, it'd be fantastic. Still on Endor,
See how
still
powerful of a
figuring out
Jedi
what they're going
she
to
could
do
have
with their
been.
lives. Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she
so-
like out overpowers Luke at some point, right? That's what they
They assume and lead to, but it's. I
yeah,
wanna
that's what
see
they
how play
implied,
it.
like that
Yeah,
she's
I'm sure the books are out there.
she's probably a better Jedi than Luke could have been.
Yeah. So
You know,
either
he
way,
had access to that Jedi text.
Tales of the
Really should
Jedi
just
for
canonize Mara
release
Jade.
in 2024.
That's blasphemy for a lot of people.
There
Mara
is-
Jade,
I said it.
Yeah.
Mara Jade, Brent,
What's that?
what do you think?
No, they don't need to do Mara Jade. Mara Jade's a closed situation. Her character
You
is
don't talk about
redundant.
her.
Her character is redundant after the new canon at this point. There is no reason for her character to exist.
How about a Dash Rendar?
Sure, that character could probably work. But Mara Jade
He's
is one
not
of
a
those
Jedi.
few characters. He's not a Jedi, yeah.
Glup Shido
Glup Shido.
story would be perfect, actually.
The other thing they dropped was the Vision Season 2 trailer, which comes out May the 4th of this year. And this I was going to bring up again.
It looks awesome.
It looks phenomenal.
That's coming soon too. May 4th. That's right around the
Yes,
corner.
yeah. Well, this time they have been doing all of. They've taken stories now from around the world, different animators from around the world. So let me get this on that bigger screen there.
This is a good introduction to a lot of like other animation companies that a lot of Star
It's-
Wars people wouldn't know about, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, it's crazy. But on top of, I think when Vision Season 1 came out, I remember us talking about Vision Season 1, and it was all Japanese anime style, and it was all beautifully done, and well-crafted individual stories by different companies within Japan. And I was saying this would be so cool to see different cultures around the world. And here we have it. We've got cultures from all over the world now.
I remember that.
Putting together
You're
stories.
saying like a German cartoon, and then me and
Yeah.
Elijah were talking about that Russian Itchy and Scratchy.
Yeah.
But now we're getting stuff from Africa. We're going to be getting stories from various cultures. You know, I didn't pull up the list of the different cultures, but let's
It's
kind of
like Spain, like France, and
England,
Ireland.
Ireland, which have got some very rich cultural history that blend into the idea of the Force and the Jedi. And,
have you seen the Book of Kales?
Huh?
It's like the Book of Wills.
Yeah.
Well, Book of Kales is like a really popular like Irish cartoon.
Yeah.
Which is worth checking out.
Totally.
You guys,
and the different styles of animation too. And check out this guy. He looks so awesome.
He looks awesome.
Yeah.
It's like a video game.
And we are getting into the Japanese anime style as well.
I think he's a bad guy.
Could be.
You think?
But the design,
could
it's so good. It looks beautiful.
I like the yellow saber too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's orange again, but
yeah,
looks like I guess yellow.
And again, different styles of animation, and nine different animated shorts.
Just keep going.
You got the Wallace and Gromit universe.
That's it. Yeah, that too. Which I'm not a fan of personally, but I'm curious to see how they do it into Star Wars.
Yeah, Chicken Run's awesome, dude.
See, I worked at the theaters at the time that was killing us. It was like, I couldn't get into Chicken Run.
Don't be afraid.
Long story.
May the Force be with you. It's showtime.
Yeah. Look at that looks so beautiful. Yeah.
It's really interesting to see what kind of stories the different production companies do, because
Sure.
I feel like the natural response would be, let's do a Jedi. But then a lot of them don't do anything related to Jedi or Sith at all.
Yeah. Look at this. Look how cool this is. Like,
that's miniature or something. That's cool.
Yeah.
Is that Leica? Is that a?
I'm not too sure.
It reminds me of like Kubo and this.
Yeah. I'm hoping. I mean, it sounds like they're going to drop all 9 episodes in a single night. I would like to see them drop like 3 episodes a week, just over 3 weeks.
That's what they did last time, right?
They dropped on 9 at once. So it was like it was a lot to take in because it was so much. I want to digest what they show us and spend time digesting some of these, different things.
Yeah, all of it's going to be available May 4th. It's just Volume 2 available.
Exactly, yeah. So they're going to drop it all at once.
That's awesome. Stoked.
But yeah, I mean, basically, that's going to be our next Star Wars thing after Mandalorian finishes next week. So, and basically with that, Celebration closed in England. They did announce that they're going to be doing Celebration for 2025 in Japan. So it's not back in the States, which kind of sucks, but you know what? It's a multicultural world of Star Wars. So for them to do these,
it's worth going to Japan, Brent.
I'd love to go to Japan. Actually, I just can't afford to go to Japan.
Just skip a couple hot toys. Just skip a couple hot toys, and you'll be able to go.
Yeah, but then the cost of just whatever. But it's that's where it's going to be for 2025. They're going to have all the film announcements, at least some of them by that point in time. Probably some more TV show announcements, which would be cool. So let's close up here on this episode of Mandalorian. What did you guys think of this week's Mandalorian episode?
It's a good episode.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Moff Gideon's back.
Mandalorian heavy.
Yeah.
Got a lot of Mandos
Moff
in there.
Gideon
A lot of
appropriated
Mandos,
Mandalorian culture.
Yeah.
Who are the spies?
Yeah.
I've been trying to figure that out all week. Who are the spies?
I think it's the armorer.
Huh?
Does anyone think it's the armorer?
No, see, that is the weak. I don't know why people are concluding it's the armorer. I have zero.
The helmet.
That the armorer. No.
Yeah.
No. See.
Why did Moff Gideon's helmet
no.
also have horns on it?
Please, it's apart from the fact that it's a
She is kind
Throw
of a
back.
one-dimensional
She made it on her own
character.
head.
No, she
Kind of
is-
one-dimensional, man. I would be like, this
no.
would help her character. if
Guys,
anything.
it's got to be Axe Wolves. He took off in the middle of the battle saying he's going to go get help, and it's like he was just
Yeah.
ditching, trying to avoid being in the line of fire. It was
That could be a
Axe
red
Wolves.
herring.
Plus-
The
Yeah,
armor
it's
would
the-
have a reason to.
it's
She
the-
doesn't trust the other Mandalorians.
Writing's not that complicated, Max.
But what does no? It's not that complicated. No, but it's not. You're right. It's
Brent
not that
agrees.
complicated. No, it is. It's not that
really not.
complicated. The armor
No red herrings
is
here.
not going to be that.
Yeah,
that
Axe Wolf did just kind of leave. It's like,
He
we'll get
did,
help,
yeah,
guys.
yeah. Come on,
I gotta
think about
go betray. I mean,
Okay, right now you got three groups that it could be. It could be the armorer who's connected with the the Children of the Watch. It could be Axe Wolves and that group of rogue, and I'm going to say rogue Mandalorians who basically are just doing things for the money. They've proven it
could
now.
be those
And they-
scrappy Mad
but-
Max guys
But
too.
they could be the
right?
scrappy
I was
ones
thinking
on
the
the
other
planet.
thing. Yeah,
but
they
here's the
kinda
thing.
like, we know where the forge is. We'll take you right there.
No, but
Yeah,
but here's the thing. Those
Mob's
guys
monster.
are refugees on the planet. They don't have I don't think they've got the energy.
No, but they've
or
But
the,
they
been
need the
there the
money.
whole time,
But
and
they're
they haven't
showing-
seen
but
what
when
Moff
they-
Gideon has created
they-
there.
when
Doesn't
they-
make sense.
Yeah, there would be a lot of ships coming in,
No.
a lot of
Yeah,
people
they're the
being on the
only people who
planet.
see the planet.
yeah,
It would
maybe,
make sense that they're working for him, because how you be there for like a decade and
Okay,
not see
all right,
what he's building
okay.
there?
Okay, that's a good
That's true.
enough piece of evidence. Okay, I mean, I personally am going to go for Axe Wolves because I feel like he's the one who has kind of split his way up
Dave's
from
the one who likes
Bo-Katan.
wolves much.
But also, yeah, but Axe Wolves was originally going to be the name of Grogu. That was George Lucas who said that.
I know
Really?
Dave Filoni's responsible for introducing wolves into this universe.
Yes. So he needs a wolf that's going to be at least a adversary or an enemy. I
What is
feel
the
like it's
obsession
Axe-
with introducing like American animals just because like the Falcon, right?
No. Dave Filoni's always loved wolves. Simple as that.
We just got
Well,
loft
that's a
cats.
great reason.
They better never make it the armor because everyone. Yeah, apart from the fact that I love her, she has no actual reasoning for betraying her own people, and I don't feel.
I don't know.
that
She
the
seems like she
people-
would totally hold all of Mandalorian back to keep to her ways.
See, I don't think so.
She
Not
does seem that
now.
kind
I
of
think
person.
she saw an awakening from Bo-Katan, and she once might have thought that way, but I don't think she does. Where you've got the same situation, you've got the people who are
She's going to
refugees-
go to the
but
mines and try to
but listen-
see the
listen
mythosaur
to-
herself. So
when-
she can...
I don't think so. She was taken off into space. We saw her ship enter. There is this element of the
conveniently
people,
out of the line of fire.
the refugees on the planet. The refugees on the planet were loyal to Bo-Katan. They physically saw her and they said, "Lady Bo-Katan." They knew who she was and they knew what the representation was.
That's because she
of
was
hope.
pretty famous on the planet. I mean,
Yeah, but
she was like their Kim Kardashian.
But they
She's also a
approached- they
cautionary
approached her
tale.
they also approached her like she was, oh my god, you're back kind of thing, and it felt that vibe. But Axe
Yeah,
Wolves
you're back, and
is
Moff
the
Gideon's gonna be
only
so
one
happy
who's going to
that-
betray them.
I mean,
Yeah,
imagine if
Black
like the
Loki,
U.S. fell, like we just fell off the map, and then
Right.
like 10 years later,
we are now.
Obama comes back.
Yes.
You'd kneel and be like, "Oh my God, Obama, you came to save us!" Like it'd be the same situation.
Yeah, exactly. That leaves very little
These
purpose
guys
for
are
them to
dumb.
betray.
The little Mad Max guys are idiots, dude.
Yeah,
Why
their
you be on
plan
that
was
planet
pretty.
refugees.
and
You
not
mean the refugees
see any
of
of that?
Mandalore?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, also,
What
why
are
were
they
they
doing?
traveling by like a skiff like that? Like
What the hell are they doing?
there was clearly something going on where they knew where to go. They were on a skiff on the whole planet, and they went right to them, and they're like, "You guys got food?"
Yeah. It doesn't make sense to me, man. And that
Really?
they would
No.
not have no idea that Moff Gideon's been farming.
Put it in the basic elements of Star Wars. The most basic element is if someone has already kind of walked away from you and betrayed you, they're going to probably betray you again. And that is Axe Wolves and that little band with the big freaking cruiser ship and everything like that. The other thing is that we're also, I mean, of course, Moff Gideon's going to betray them all. It doesn't matter who he's going for. They're also going to be masked by, we're going to get a huge space battle at the beginning of this episode because all those TIE interceptors and TIE bombers
And the
are
bombers.
heading up through, they're all heading up through a cloud. They cannot be detected until they break orbit because of the interference on the planet, which means that they're in a perfect situation to invade and take out half that fleet. So it's going to be a pretty...
all those TIE interceptors will be quite operational.
I have one more theory, but I have one more theory about this week as well. My other theory is that that R5 is going to send a signal off to the New Republic saying, you know, Imperials are here, send help. Not that there's much of an, you know, rebellion.
And Cara Dune will valiantly show up and save everyone.
See, the thing is, they've taken apart most of the capital ships that we're aware of at this point in time. You know, there is capital ships that have been. So then when it gets
like the Mon Calamari or the M85 capital ship showing up and just laying heavy fire down back on Mandalore.
It might be just a pile of X-wings shooting,
glassing it again.
Hey, we might see Zeb in one of those X-wings fighting off some you know, some of the remnants of the Empire.
I would like to see Zeb just flying around doing something cool. That'd be fun and easy.
If we see the ghost, my head.
I don't think we'll see the ghost. I don't think.
If we see the ghost,
Hera, I think, is flying X-wing right now.
Would she be?
Yeah, according to the game Star Wars Squadrons, which is canon.
Yeah. Come on. No. Oh, please.
Yeah.
That's the look they got her outfit from.
Really? Okay.
That's where they got the jacket she's wearing. The jacket, but that's where they got the stylization of the jacket.
Hey, Arson Dawn. You guys think the title
we
of
have
Spies refers to
spies.
Alana? See, she's one of the spies. There is multiple spies. Alana Kane definitely.
She's a spy for sure. But Moff Gideon, unless he's on like a different side, I don't know who he's spying on.
Mine is Axel Wolf's. It's definitely
that would be good.
Yeah.
Are we giving too much credit thinking that they're hiding a spy among the cast, or is it just that
episode had spies with an S?
It's going to be a main character. They're going to
end up Gideon and Kane. That's it. I think everyone's going to be like, we're thinking too much into this, guys. It's not that complicated.
Maybe not. I think to
you could ask Filoni and Favreau and get two different answers.
Yeah, you will too. And
John,
you'll probably John will be somewhere between 0 and 2 years, I'm sure, about whatever he's going to say. To answer
it's just
that
the
question,
most cryptic title of an episode.
I think
compared to all the other titles out there.
Yeah.
And so it's got everyone speculating.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's the reason why they picked the title.
It's like calling an episode The True Leader and never revealing who the true leader is.
Yeah, but they'll drop something next week. There'll be a surprise spy in that group. I think that Grogu is going to be the one that saves Din the same way that Din came and saved Grogu at the end of season 2. I think there's going to be that moment of Grogu has grown to that level.
I hope there's a moment where like
badass
Din's about to get executed, and all of a sudden you hear no, and then you see him walk out of like the mist, out of the smoke.
Yes. Just
they got to utilize the button pushing somehow.
I think that was brilliant. I thought that was extremely funny. Yes, Lavelle, Black Loki. We are talking about everything crazy on Mandalorian right now.
Loki, you missed the part about the Harry Potter universe getting rebooted. That Brent's all 100%
go
on
back
board
and rewatch
with.
that a bit later. I'm fine with it being rebooted, but that's just me. Sorry.
He said he can't wait.
Loki.
He said it's his next.
I can't wait. I my
mostly
evil...
because it pisses off Loki. That's why. That's what he's all
say
up
that.
for.
I didn't.
Oh
say
man,
that.
it's gonna make him so mad. I can't wait for them to do this.
Let's just jump back to this episode of Mandalorian.
First, if the Mon Calamari and they show up with their capital ships, you know who'd be in charge, right? Admiral Akbar.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be cool. Okay, so I wonder if that means that Mon Mothma will be there too. Wait, we've seen her in the. No, wait.
You could only fit so much nostalgia mining in an episode, guys.
Good point.
Come on.
Yeah, but Akbar would be pretty easy. It's not that, but that's not that.
You don't want to saturate it with nostalgia, guys.
I went through last week and I predicted this week's episode because it seemed right that the Empire would actually, that Moff Gideon, if he was the cause of creating Mandalore, been separated from people and people not going back and spreading a story saying that Mandalore is no longer livable, that he'd be setting up a secret base mining armor for the Beskar. And it seems like he's been doing that. Yeah.
Wiping out an entire planet. You know?
Completely, yeah. But then I love the kind of
empire thing to do.
Idea of the Shadow Council that he brought in, which was really cool.
Hellion Hux,
because it comes cool. Because it comes directly from the Heir to the Empire books series. And then of course you've got Brendor Hux, played by Brian Gleason, who is the brother of Domhnall Gleason, who played General Hux.
Could you imagine your name is Domhnall and your brother's name is Brian? Like, I don't know. I had some words with my parents about that.
Yeah, like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Domhnall.
Yeah. But that's Scottish or Irish? I think it's Scottish, right?
But, I have no idea.
I don't know. Anyway.
Malloy, tell us, please.
But, that was kind of a throwback for the sequels, which was kind of fun because we got, the father of General
Armitage Hux, right? Yeah, Isn't that his name? Yeah. Armitage?
That's a good question. Will they give Grogu a blaster in the hands of the IG-12?
I could see him picking one up.
Yeah,
I feel like it just
possibly.
I think he's a minigun, like a big two-hand. Take what
he's gonna have his tantrum or berserker moment where he's just like just going crazy, like just shooting everywhere.
Yeah, you need to give him Paz Vizsla's gun.
Oh, hips, wrong one. Yep, they're Irish. Yeah. Okay, all right, Irish. Alrighty. And then, I've been watching the Heir to the Empire CG movie. Wait, there's a CG movie some guy had made? Oh, really? I didn't know. Okay, because I've got the comics, but I didn't realize it was a CG movie. How interesting. Is that from the comics, or is it like someone's done something purely from scratch? That'd be kind of worth watching. Anyway,
is it like funny? Is it done with like the cute characters, kind of like what they did to Duel of Fates?
Well, I'm sure it'd be pretty basic.
They're doing that with Ghostbusters. I know they're redoing Ghostbusters with the real Ghostbusters animation style, but redoing just the actual Ghostbusters.
I know there was some footage, but I thought that was just a section of it.
Anyway, the fan stuff.
So yeah, going back, Max, you mentioned as well Captain Pelion, who is in fact, the captain who is in the Timothy Zahn novels of Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and The Last Command, and he is Grand Admiral Thrawn's personal second in command kind of thing.
Is he in Rebels? You hear his voice in Rebels, right?
Pelion, I don't think so. Not from memory. I think this is the first time we've seen Pelion live action or any form of Pelion. Because we've been kind of hoping and predicting that he'll turn up, kind of thing. Okay, so it's just bad CGI. Okay, all right, but still, I'm kind of curious to check it out. So Pelion was kind of cool. I mean, this is the art look of what he looks like. So they got pretty close to what he should look like.
Yeah, you go back. You got that Jason Isaacs.
Yeah,
not quite.
Thrawn, right?
Yeah. The cool thing about Pelion, you can't see it here on this angle, but on his left shoulder there's a lapel of the 7th Fleet, which is this logo here, which is part of, obviously, Thrawn's fleet. And Thrawn's ship is the... I've got a mental block on the name of his ship. But we're going to probably get to see it in Ahsoka, I'm sure. Unless he turns up first at the end of next week's episode, which I don't think we're going to see Thrawn in this season finale, in my opinion. It just doesn't seem like we're there yet, because they're indicating that
they're hiding it, like
in the shadows.
His reveal is going to be in the Ahsoka.
I think so too. It feels like it's going to go that direction.
I don't know, man. None of us predicted Luke.
Yeah, good point.
It would be a big jump.
It could be. It could be.
It would be in their interest to do so. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It depends on how filled this week's episode. You said,
people are getting a little frustrated by having to follow different shows to follow the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I'm getting that, and I don't care.
I don't care personally. Other people personally don't want to do that though, and they want when I think Mandalorian started, it seemed very simple, like almost episodic. It seemed, and then as it went on, you need to watch Boba Fett to catch up. People weren't sure if they needed to watch Obi-Wan for some reason. They didn't know what was they didn't know if they need to watch Bad Batch because Fennec Shand is in it. So people were kind of all over the place. What do I need to watch to understand what's happening now?
But here's the thing. Like, if you take something like Kenobi and you're talking about the Inquisitors, the show of Star Wars Rebels never really did a massive introduction to what an Inquisitor is, who the Inquisitors are. They just turned up. And there really wasn't an explanation. So most of what we're getting is a character turns up, and if you've never seen their backstory, it doesn't necessarily.
No, that's a thing. That's a Star Wars thing.
Correct. Yeah.
Like you introduced Darth Vader, and we were not introduced to anything
that's it.
that
We're
he's
not,
done.
exactly.
But good storytelling, you shouldn't have to require any of that.
Right. Correct.
You know what I mean? They should be able to introduce someone without having to watch, and it should all be able to stand alone. That I think is the issue that a lot of people are having.
Right.
And they're starting to venture out where like it is kind of required at this point because they just trust that you've seen everything else. So it wouldn't be able to stand alone.
But you don't know the Rebel characters. Rebels isn't very. I think people in my age group have no idea about Rebels a lot of the time. Like people in their mid-20s, I think when it was too late for us. We were just too old for us to watch at the time. We were just uninterested in kids shows at the time. I think I've seen a lot of people frustrated that now they're leaning so much on Rebels stuff when they don't know anything about it. They feel like they have to watch so much to catch up to really fully get the gist of everything that's happening.
Okay, but if you're going in and you see the character of Ahsoka Tano live action, as we did see in the middle of season 2 of Mandalorian, we have a character story arc that is there. It would get confusing and muddy when she's talking to Luke, obviously, and saying connections to your father, that you would need to understand a backstory to.
Well,
but
you think of the first episode she was in, she's like, "Where's Thrawn?" And it's like no one who's seen Rebels or anything like that. Wait, what?
So
who's what?
Wait, that's fine.
It's like
but
there's the required stuff. Like it should be able to.
But here's the thing: to anybody new, then you don't need to necessarily know you. I take it as a new character has been introduced at that point in time as I pick up on the story. Any part of these stories, any new character, any old character, I should say, who's been brought in to live action, or we're picking up on a story through, is a point of the story that should be able to just pick up. And I feel that it's no different than getting a brand new character.
We're getting the episode any further than for anyone, except for the only thing that catered to were people who knew who Thrawn was.
You're right. It caters to those people, but at the same time, you're still getting introduced to a brand new character if you've never followed any backstory. We're going to get introduced to a brand new character called Balon and I forgot her name. Whoever these two orange blades are. I don't know if we're going to get a complicated backstory to those characters either.
No, I'm not talking about like all she did was mention Thrawn.
Correct.
See, like an introduction, if you have Vader walking into a hallway, that's a great introduction. But if you're just like
naming someone, name dropping someone,
it's not the same.
Like Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars: A New Hope. The Emperor is, whatever, is shut down all the systems. We don't get Emperor Palpatine until the second movie. He gets name dropped in the first film.
In the first movie.
Yeah.
I guess it can be paid off.
Originally Jabba was not seen, but
but it's said in passing the same way you would be like the Kessel Run or something like that. It just moves the story along.
Yes. Yeah.
But like the whole Thrawn thing seemed like such a pivotal point in her arc. For anyone else who has no idea who Thrawn was, it carried a lot of weight. So it's really complicated.
In my opinion, as Star Wars goes, it's a name drop for a future event that we know that there's a character called Thrawn. If you've never seen any backstory, that is going to be introduced at some point in a future of Star Wars, the same way that Emperor Palpatine was never seen until we see him till The Empire Strikes Back, and you get this name drop in A New Hope that we eventually see him. And it's a build-up. I think it's a perfect build-up for people who have not seen certain events and certain characters. And anything they say, again, Ahsoka talking to Luke, I knew your father, or whatever she says specifically, you have... It means that she has a connection to Luke's past. And if you're...
I had no problem with that one. That one was cool. because like
exactly.
it's the same as like Obi-Wan saying that your
Yeah.
father blah
So
blah.
so if you had never seen if you had never seen anything about Ahsoka in Clone Wars or Rebels or any of the books or anything like that, and your first introduction, or more or less second introduction technically, is her meeting Luke Skywalker and saying, "I once knew your father," then you've already got a piece of
Yeah, but I think
backstory there.
what people are more frustrated about is when they see the trailer for Ahsoka. A lot of it's focused on basically two different eras of Star Wars shows. So you got Ahsoka from the Clone Wars show, and you have all the Rebels characters.
And to
people
all of us
watching that,
who've seen it, know that.
yeah, but a lot of people who haven't seen it watched that trailer and said, and are already like, I wanted a whole new thing. I don't want I don't want to see all these characters with all their established stuff. I don't want to see their characters going forward. They don't want to see continuation of another journey that they have to catch up on. People want something like Mandalorian that felt very singular and fresh, and they didn't have to watch anything else to connect to it.
I guess
that's
good
what's happening with
storytelling
with Project Necromancers. People are getting a little on the edge about if they bring Palpatine back in this show, is that going to ruin all the Mandalorian for all of us?
Empire have no originality about the concept of their actual secrecy, do they? Project Necromancer.
I know, they're like, what if we called it Project Bring Back Palpatine?
Yeah,
that's too on the nose.
Somehow Palpatine returned. It's like, we'll call it Operation Somehow Palpatine Returned. No, we'll call it Necromancer instead.
If you just called it Operation Somehow, that would have been really funny.
But this is the issue I've always had is like the reliance on these callbacks for your storytelling to be rich for a specific crowd who's watched this stuff. But
I think it's affecting the non-hardcore fans who just want the casual viewing of hopping into a show without having experienced something like that.
And good writing should be able to appeal to the whole mass of people the same amount
they're losing the general audience. With the exception, as they get narrower, they're losing the general population of why Mando was so big in the first place.
But then you're saying the exact same thing for the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the TV stuff.
No, it's a little different.
Why is it different? Why is it different?
Because I say Marvel is reinventing characters that are established for 60 years, and they're presenting them as
Star Wars is now 40 years old, and they're giving us.
No, but this is the difference. Is they're taking characters from Rebels and they're continuing their story in another medium, and people don't want to have to catch up on that original medium.
So because I missed out watching WandaVision and knowing the backstory and what happens there, and I only pick up at the beginning of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier or Doctor Strange, just like that. Does that mean that it's any different than what you're saying? That you're going to have to keep complaining? Correct. Exactly. Yeah. So,
but the way I see that one is like,
but you've got the option at that point.
If you didn't watch,
if you became
invested, Brent, wait, hold on a sec. If you didn't watch WandaVision, I still think it wouldn't have an effect. It wouldn't have had any effect on
Doctor Strange,
Multiverse of Madness.
Really?
Well, actually, it would, because you wouldn't know why Wanda is evil, standing out in that field doing any of that stuff.
She's explained, like, that does fill the gap, but then in the amount of dialogue they have explains why the way she is in the situation.
You also hope that the showrunners produce a show based off of something interesting enough for at least some new viewers to go, hey, I am kind of liking and digging these characters. I wish I knew more about them. And then to go back and find out there's a show called Rebels or a show called The Clone Wars that they can do it. No,
so here, look at it this way. Say like the way that Ahsoka asked, like, where's Thrawn, would be the same way as if you had Wanda in Multiverse of Madness ask about, this is all General Hayward's fault.
I remember she's asking about Agatha. People were looking for. You have to go back and watch something else and tie to something else.
The Multiverse of Madness could stand alone as its own movie because in the dialogue they establish what her motivations are, and they've introduced the idea that she has children in another.
And you don't think we're getting those same motivations on everything?
Not in Star Wars. Like Star Wars, I feel like it relies too much on like that you've watched Rebels because she's
exactly,
and it's such a non sequitur to any normie watching who has no idea who Thrawn is, but she's like saying his name with such vigor.
It would be
It's
like,
like,
you need
all
to
right,
be
who's
back
this
in the
Thrawn
comics
guy?
to follow the
Yeah,
movies
but
to
again, I
find
take
out
that
who
as
this big villain is.
no different than
No,
Moff
but I'm
Tarkin
saying,
talking
like,
to
they
Vader
didn't
about
do.
Palpatine, and we still don't say we get this throw in of a character that has yet to be on screen that gets introduced in the future in on screen. And even though we've seen him in animation form in the past, we're still going forward with a introduction of be expecting
but it's not a formal
this guy
introduction.
called Grand Admiral Thrawn.
That's what people are mad about, is that it's a reintroduction. They're saying that they feel like they need to have followed a different show to fully understand the story going forward.
What show did I have to follow when Star Wars: A New Hope came out? Did I had to get a backstory about who Emperor Palpatine was and why he was?
That's because he had no
You
backstory then. This
you
is the
don't
difference.
need
Thrawn
that.
has
It
backstory.
was
Thrawn
unnecessary, and
had
there
a full
wasn't a
story that's gone until then.
But there is
there wasn't a reliance
but
on
someone
knowing
coming
who
in,
the emperor was.
Yeah,
so
and
if
there's-
you don't
and-
know who
and
he
is there
was,
a-
we know that there's an emperor,
Yeah,
and we
but
know
if-
that the word emperor carries a lot of weight.
It's-
So what we learn
Yeah.
is that Vader has it higher
And
up that
Grand-
he has to.
And where's
has to
Grand
see-
Admiral Thrawn doesn't add a certain amount of weight as
It's
to a
just
potential.
it's a non sequitur compared to that. Like it has
It's
no
just a name. Compared to the
attachment to
Emperor,
any
it has
other
no actual
storyline.
title.
It has
Like
no
Grand
attachment to
Admiral
any other.
means
Fair enough.
people don't have a full list of ranks of the Empire. So when you say Grand
has
Admiral,
no
like, well, it sounds important, but where is that among janitors and
Yeah, it
Well,
has no
Grand-
attachment to anything else going
Grand
on
Moff
in the episode.
Tarkin, you've got Grand Moff Tarkin.
Brent,
I-
it has
yeah,
no.
But he's
It
a
has
grand
no-
he's a grand admiral. Where does that
It has-
rank among moffs and all that? That's what I'm saying. Is like
It has no attachment to anything else going on in the
Uh-huh,
episode.
uh-huh.
That's what I mean.
Right.
By Vader mentioning that the Emperor in the movie
Yep.
says a lot more than anything asking of her saying, "Where's Grand
Only
Admiral
because you
Thrawn?"
know who the Emperor is, and
You might as well
at the
said,
time-
"Where's Glup Shido?"
I don't
And it would have
remember
been the
like
same
when I
effect to
first.
anyone who hasn't seen Rebels.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. That's the difference right there, right?
Uh-huh.
Like,
was
you
also
could
I think
change
also people
any
have the
name.
reintroduction of characters that have had full storylines that are going to be mentioned, but they're going to be loosely mentioned. They're not going to go over every inch of detail of what they've been through. I think people are going to feel left out because the show is not only years old, but it's also been kind of dead for years. Like it's just been an old project at this point that's been referenced a bunch. But
there's a difference to adding subject to a dialogue that enriches the world. Like, say, mentioning the Kessel Run. You're not stuck on that and being like, the hell's the Kessel Run? It's kind of like distracting.
But Thrawn has had a story with Ezra already. That they've had an ending to that story that's it's open-ended ending that's getting continued. But until people have seen that ending of that first story, they're not going to fully
until
get
Ahsoka
the same
comes out.
picture.
We may get this reintroduction to people who may not have seen these characters before.
I think they're going to have to.
It doesn't matter who the
characters
characters
from
is.
the storyline that they're presenting.
Good storytelling should be able to stand alone, regardless of anything else that has happened before or after it. And I think that's where Star Wars is failing, is that it requires all this additional reading for you to get the full richness. Whereas good storytelling, you should be able to get that without having to see any prior stuff.
Okay. All right. So let's tie this up, guys, because we're coming like an hour and 45 minutes here. One last thing I wanted to note about the episode this week was we see the exit of Pa Vizsla, a character that was a bit of a dick at the beginning and turned out to be.
Did you think Happy would outlive him?
Huh?
Did you think Happy would outlive
Happy Hogan?
him?
Happy Hogan?
Yeah, how does Happy Hogan almost died? Like basically every Iron Man movie.
Technically, they changed the voice.
One, right?
They did change the voice of the actor in this season, though. It wasn't Jon Favreau this season voicing him.
They released a toy with him underneath the helmet, though.
Yeah,
right?
but that was
just fan service.
Fan service toy. Yeah. But being the case, it was kind of interesting.
It would have been so great
Praetorian
get
guards.
decapitated and Jon Favreau's under the helmet. That would have been a really great moment.
That would have been disturbing. Anyway, I thought it was a fitting end. I actually started to really enjoy and like this character by the time his death, which is, again, that was a good character development of a new character where he's brought in, comes across as a bit of a douchebag, but still kind of honorable in his
lot of people thought
he
he was the
saved his
antagonist
son.
this season.
His arc was his son getting saved by Din,
Sure.
so he was just like,
Yeah.
I'm all on board with
I
that.
think his arc was him finding the real way. It wasn't him dedicating his life to the cult. It was him dedicating his life to Mandalore, which I think was actually a good idea. It's him dedicating his life to the future of Mandalore, I should say.
Yes,
which
and his son is part of the future of Mandalore.
Yeah, exactly. He
Yeah,
gave his son a future, which I think is a lot. It's a lot different than I thought. I thought he was going to be the antagonist to Din, who was going to try and spend the whole season conspiring to how he's going to get the Darksaber.
Right.
I thought he was going to show up a few times, try and fight him like Vegeta style.
But you know where that comes from? Our past with the Vizslers. Our past with the Vizslers meant that people are introduced to this brand new Vizsla. They had not needed to have known enough about the backstory of the family line and lineage, as we know. But you've got an interesting. But you could have mentioned it more. But you've got an interesting character here that
she mentions the Vizslas forged the Darksaber in Book of Boba, so you'd have to watch that.
That's what I was thinking of earlier. That's such a weird place to put it.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm just saying that it's like it.
And then any beef that he had with the Vizsla in between, like any of that, all happened in a different show.
Correct, but
that would be like if Spider-Man got married in a Fantastic Four book. Like it just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. But but with that, you've got this character Par Vizsla who has got this lineage and a history that you don't necessarily need to understand to know where that character began from the beginning of this series of season 1 through to now, this point in time.
And it shouldn't ever.
Right.
Honestly, I would have liked to see a little bit about his history.
But there is a richer Vizsla backstory there. I
want to know how the Vizslas ended up with the cult.
It didn't get in the way of any storytelling.
Right.
Naming him Vizsla.
Yes.
You know?
And I really am interested in how the Vizslas kind of fell apart, because they should have been like kind of an important family in Mandalore. Though when Mandalore fell, they're just in a cult now.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tougher to actually see him told that his father died later on. Whether we get to see,
who knows? I don't know. There's those bombers out there. His son might get.
Yeah, he still might get bombed and destroyed. Well, I imagine he's back. I imagine the kids are back on.
No, I think they took everyone with them. I think that was Din's awful plan. He was like, "We're going to load everyone onto the Star Cruiser. We're going to fly all over there. And they're going to wait up top. We're going to
die, and we're going to thin out the bloodline even more so of the Vizslas and every other.
It was just for like the drama of they're all going to die, but I don't know why they wouldn't be like, all right, why don't we just take a ship there? You guys wait in Navarro, and then we'll call you guys. We got phones, like
right, yeah.
They just take everyone just to be like, all right, guys, it's safe. Come on down. We're good to go as fast as possible.
The first thing is going to
rush.
The kid survives, gets onto Mandalore, and the first thing that happens, he gets eaten by a giant creature.
Yeah, exactly.
There goes the last Vizsla.
They just want to make sure it was habitable, and they're like, all right, let's start bringing people in.
All right, guys.
Vizsla curse.
Big Vizsla curse. Well, at least for this kid, at least. Okay, guys, we're at an hour and 46 minutes at this point. I think we'll wrap it up here. Everybody out there in chat, thank you so much for joining us. If you survived this long and you've watched us in the pre-recorded or recorded later on, if you've watched us this far in, thank you. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And thanks, Elijah, Max, and Jason. We shall be on. We'll be doing a reaction video for the season finale of Mandalorian this Tuesday into Wednesday. Wednesday night will be on Jason's channel, talking about stuff on his channel, probably more AI stuff, which is fun. And then we'll be back next Sunday. So thank you all for coming in, and we shall catch you all later.
Oh, and pick another target.